Terry Murphy for Realty Times Women in Business, Women in Real Estate in the Men's Room with Murph. And today I have a great man in the men's room. His name is Mike White. He is 18 plus years in all things mortgage, especially as a coach. How many people are you coaching now, Michael? I mean, like
right now about 35, but we've got, that's since 1996, probably upwards of 4,000. So yeah.
Oh yeah. Mike and I have worked together longer than, well, I won't say it forever, but the good news is that Mike always has a great insight about what's going on with mortgage, and he's down to earth and he's in your face because he's really from New York, hiding out in Florida. And the good news is he's got some great information for us today. And Mike, we know that the interest rates have got to rise because they were almost zero. And so what's happening out there with mortgages?
Well, Terry, first of all, it's great to be here. And secondly, I've been encouraging people to pay attention to some of the national data. While real estate is largely hyper local, the mortgage business and rates tend to be more on a national scale. And last week, the Federal Reserve had a meeting and pretty much indicated that the party was going to be over sooner rather than later, and then put out their annual dot chart. That's where all the Fed presidents predict where interest rates are going to go over the next couple of years. And shockingly, but not shockingly, they're talking about 5 to 7 rate increases over the next 2 to 3 years, and potentially pulling away the punch bowl of all the economic stimulus that have been keeping interest rates low, beginning maybe as early as November or December. And as those of you who look at the markets will see that your interest rates on mortgage loans, especially the 30-year loans, have quickly pulled out of the 2s and started heading toward the 3s, which is causing some consternation and, in fact, some fear in the marketplace.
So what's your advice to both buyers, sellers, and mortgage professionals?
Well, I think, Terry, it comes down to something really funny. Less than a couple of years ago, as rates were receding from 4% to 3.99, we had a little bit of a party and everybody was excited. We were in the 3s. And then we rolled down to 2.49, and then we went to 2.99, and each time we had another party. And it's ironic that less than 6 to 8 months ago, we saw rates in the low 3s, and nobody really panicked because they were all convinced that, rates were going to go back down into the 2s, that it wasn't permanent. But they closed their loans anyway, because for most people, and again, this is local depending upon the loan size, the payment difference can be quite small. It's more the emotional attachment. There's a huge gap between what 2.99 is emotionally and 3%, right? It's like real estate commissions. If you were out there at a 7% real estate commission and somebody else was offering 6.99, oh my God, we got to go with the cheaper person because it's that much cheaper, right? It becomes emotional. And it's one of the rare times in mortgage lending where the lending becomes an emotional attachment to a number. Real estate, realtors in general are much better equipped at dealing with buyers' emotions because the house project, the buying of a home, is much more emotional than the numbers of doing a mortgage. But when you hit the iconic numbers, generally at the whole or 0.5% milestone, it becomes a very emotional barrier for some people. And it becomes really important for realtors to be aware of this and be aware of their buyers who may have been pre-approved as little as 2 or 3 weeks ago at 2.5, and the market has now moved away from that. And you don't want to be the shock when they go to contract on their house thinking they're going to get a loan at 2.5. They talk to their mortgage person, find out we're at 3, and now all of a sudden they're crushed. And so what I've advised my clients to do, what I'm advising your clients to do, to be honest with you, is if you're working with a buyer, just ask them when was the last time they had their pre-approval updated to reflect current market conditions. You don't have to scare them and say, oh my God, rates are going to be 17 by tomorrow. It's just, when was the last time they had that update? Now, I hope my loan officers are already doing that. Many of them already have to prepare that. But I don't want sticker shock once somebody signs a contract. That's the worst thing that can happen.
Yeah, you're absolutely right about that, Mike. And so, and by the way, if you'd like more from Mike, he writes a weekly blog, a vlog as well, so you get both on realtytimes.com. He's featured on Realty Times News TV. Michael, thanks for joining us for that Mortgage Minute. I hope you'll join us again soon.